And we are back. Welcome, guys, to Good Energy, where we talk sports, but mainly tennis. And we are back at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships 32-player tournament, WTA 500 level event. And I was very disappointed today by a lot of the matches. One in particular, Sofia Kenin, Ostapenko. That's a match that I was glued to the television watching. I wanted to see how Sofia Kenin would do after her last match with Madison Keys, which I felt she played really good. Madison Keys and Jelena Ostapenko have a lot in common, but having 3 weeks off, I expected Sofia Kenin to be training, running, working on cardio and fitness, but she didn't look too good today. And today was a match where we don't really want to talk about what Kenin didn't do. Let's talk about what Jelena Ostapenko did do. Jelena Ostapenko coming off of a great, exciting match, St. Petersburg with the Net Kontaveit. We knew she was essentially, although I feel she's definitely overweight. She can play. She's fit, and doesn't matter how big she is, her arm and her racket, it's always going to be big. She's got power, she's got strength, and that's not going anywhere. And she did a good job today. Her serve was decent. She had several double faults, but nonetheless her serve was decent, and her return serve was amazing. She just constantly kept the pressure on Sofia Kenin. Sofia Kenin, I've never seen her just give up in a match like she did today. She just seemed like she had no answer for Ostapenko. Ostapenko now owns the head-to-head 2-1. And congratulations to Ostapenko. She's gonna have a tough match today. But nonetheless, what's the future for Sofia Kenin? And I spoke many times about the huge contract she signed, the sponsorships, winning the several $million prize at the Australian Open. What is next for Sofia Kenin? I mean, it's tough to, when you win all those millions of dollars and earn them, because she definitely earned them. She's worked hard her whole life, but it's tough to get up and then come into a WTA tournament and play for a game check of $10,000. So for a first round or something. So it's tough for Sofia Kenin, I feel, to get up and get motivated. She's clearly overweight, and she's had plenty of time to burn off those pounds, but nonetheless, I think she's going through some things. We are going to hope she gets through them, and I expect to see good things for her in Miami. I will be down there for the WTA Miami event, 1000 event. That is big time. All of the superstars show up for Miami, and I hope she does well there. We want to see Sofia Kenin in the top 10, the top 20. She is a huge star in tennis. She's had a great run the last few years, and we wish her the best. But let's get back into the tournament. 16 players are left, and we got some great tennis coming ahead. We're going to quickly review some of the upsets that happened today, though. Great day of tennis, and this is what we want to see. We want to see the stars being pushed by the upcomers. Sabalenka, the number 1 seed, versus Kashuk. Kashuk from the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is producing some heavy hitters indeed. Kashuk is one of only a few teenagers on tour within the top 100, and that's Kashuk, that's Emma Raducanu, that's Leylah Fernandez, that's Corey Golf, and Clara Bruel. Those are your top 100 players that are teenagers. That's it. All of the Iga Swiatek is now 20 years old, so remember that, keep that in mind. But Sabalenka won the first set 6-4. She was pushed. Kashuk, it seemed like she was going to steal that, and then she figured her out and put her away 6-1 in the second set. That was an amazing match nonetheless, though. And Barbara Krejcikova looks really good. Not really being tested much here early on, but Barbara Krejcikova, she's going to have a really good match coming up here with Yastremka. So that's a match that I look forward to. But nonetheless, she put away Caroline Garcia pretty darn easily. Probably the biggest story out of Dubai, the 59th player in the world, Ruse, who has been playing very well this year. She upset Paula Badosa. She stole the first set 6-3. Paula Badosa bounced back, winning the second set 7-5. Paula Badosa was up early in the third set. It looked like she had it under control. But somewhere between the 7th and the 9th game, Paula Badosa just completely collapsed. That's right, the 5th player in the world, the 3rd seed, Paula Badosa, eliminated a huge underdog. Ruse upset Paula Badosa. Unbelievable match there. Garbiñe Muguruza, she had a great match today. She was pushed 3 sets by Sinakova. Sinakova, who a lot of people think has probably the worst serve in terms of form on tour. Nonetheless, she's a great doubles player, and she can play close towards the net as long as she's not being a hothead and getting frustrated. She can hang with a lot of the top ladies on tour. Sinakova herself is ranked 45th, so I mean she could hang with anyone inside the top 20. But Garbiñe Muguruza being too tough, winning the 3rd set 6-2. And Iga, who remember, Iga's not a teenager anymore. She's a slam winner though. Iga definitely she's in the round of 16, beating Kasatkina, who's had a lot of success here at this tournament. We remember the finals a few years ago with Elena Svetlana when she won the championship here. She had to go through Kasatkina, but nonetheless here, Jabeur had a challenge. The 8th seed here, she won the first set easily from Vondrousova 6-2, but Vondrousova would come back, win the second set 6-2, and I was watching that match like, Jabeur, what's going on here? Is she a little rusty? She looked very good in the first set. It seemed like she was starting to heat up and catch her rhythm, and but nonetheless, she would put her away in the 3rd set, taking that 7-5. But that was a really good match to watch there. Danielle Collins, she had to retire. She was playing Vondrousova, and she won the first set 6-2. Danielle Collins, her backhand is just too powerful. She's finally healthy, and that's what people have to understand. Big fan of her at Virginia in college, 2-time national champion in college. Danielle Collins has the goods, and I mean Danielle Collins had to take a different route from a lot of these ladies. She didn't come from a very wealthy family. She had to go to college on a scholarship, and she had to earn it. So Danielle Collins has a point to prove, and she's finally healthy, and she is showing a lot of these girls that have been playing tennis. Now, Danielle Collins has been playing tennis her whole life. She had to play with a lot of her father's friends and things like that. She had to play against guys, so she's tough. When you hear her yelling the catchphrase Serena Williams, "Come on," and you hear her just getting angry and getting pumped up. She's a fighter. She's got a lot of heart. She's been one of my favorite tennis players. I felt she did get a little obnoxious though, in the Australian Open, a little bit Ostapenko-ish, being a bully, Sabalenka-ish, being kind of a bully and being obnoxious at times and intimidating her opponent. But hey, if you're not game, if you're gonna fold, then keep doing it. So hats off to she had to work hard. She is no joke. Danielle Collins, her backhand, and I'm gonna do a video on who I think the top 10 backhands and forehands and serves are right now, as well as the top 10 defensive players. And I think I'm going to do a video also on the top 10 most beautiful tennis players, in my opinion. But nonetheless, Danielle Collins is a fighter. She's tough. She is a good tennis player, and she's finally healthy. She's finally getting her due. And watch out, she's probably going to be in the WTA finals this year. And as long as she doesn't have to worry about Ashley Barty, Danielle Collins can beat any of these ladies because she is tough and she is strong. That backhand is strong. That is a weapon. She demolished Vondrousova in the first set. And Vondrousova is a lefty. A lot of players struggle when they play lefties because you got that serve coming right into your hip. And you got to go across shoulder to return it. Danielle Collins, with ease, returning that serve. Vondrousova was running all over the court like a track meet. You would think it was a clay court. She was sliding all over the place. That was embarrassing. But nonetheless, Vondrousova moves on, and best wishes to Danielle Collins. Hopefully we'll see her soon. Elena Svetlana, one of my favorite players on tour, and she actually won. She's won this tournament 2 times before. She's won it in 17 and I think 17 and 18. Yeah, so she's won it a couple times before, and one time she 18 she had to beat Kasatkina, and 17 she beat Caroline Wozniacki, and in the semifinals she had to go through Angelique Kerber both years, 17 and 18, to get those championships. But Elena Svetlana, 2-time champion here in Dubai. She loves playing here. No issue with Shrew. 6-2, 6-3. She moves on. She's going to have a tough match, and I'm going to do a breakdown of the round of 16 that's coming up next. But Kasu eliminated today. Tough match. Sabalenka was just too much. Kvitova, we saw her get past the always, volatile Camilla Giorgi, and she's gonna have a tough match with Sabalenka. That's gonna be good. We'll get to that one shortly. Iga Swiatek taking out Kasatkina, who historically has done well in this tournament, and we also saw Simona Halep take out Alison Ruse 6-2, 6-4 in straight sets. And Jessica Pegula, who took out Corey Golf in straight sets 6-4, 6-4. She's going to have a really tough match coming up. And I'm going to have a preview and prediction video coming up, and we'll break down some of these matchups. But before we get to that, Jill Teichmann, 2 upsets already. She demolished Elise Mertens 6-2, 6-4. Jill Teichmann is ranked 35th in the world, took out the 22nd player in the world with Elise Mertens in a straight set victory, and she essentially, she's playing really good here. Beating Elise Mertens is no easy feat, and she's got another tough one coming up here, and we're gonna see what she can do. We will be taking a look at that matchup. That's gonna be a very tough matchup she's got coming up, and we're gonna see what she can do with the 2-time champion here, Svetlana. And Yastremka, that's a matchup there. Whew, unbelievable. Yastremka with the huge upset there. Kvitova, she took out Yastremka in straight sets 6-3, 6-4. And Yastremka, the ranked 17th player in the world. Kvitova ranked 31st in the world. Kvitova, she's very athletic. She's a lefty as well. She can be played left or righty, so sometimes she can be tricky for opponents. We saw her get her first singles title at the beginning of last year. She's got 2 doubles titles. Victoria Yastremka, 30 titles under her belt, 9 being doubles, and 2-time multiple slam winner Yastremka. She is getting up there in age. Sometimes she gets up for these tournaments, sometimes she doesn't. You never really know. She didn't win any single titles last year. She can go deep in the draws, but it's getting to the point where, when she's reaching the best of the competition, it's getting a little tough. Like the Indian Wells, that was really her chance to get a singles title, and Paula Badosa just outplayed her. But nonetheless, Yastremka, that's a match if I'm not mistaken, she did have match point. She was up late in the 3rd, and she blew it. And she was actually up a set and blew it. But nonetheless, another upset. Asa Tomjanovic, Gracheva. She beat her in straight sets, winning the first set 6-1. And if you listen to the channel, I tell you all the time, Asa Tomjanovic, she can get out of the first round, but depending on the draws, she's normally not going past the second round. She did have to come up through the qualifiers. She won a couple of good matches, in particular Heather Watson. She went 3 sets with her, and I personally thought this was a match that Tomjanovic could at least force 3 sets. I didn't think Tomjanovic would beat Gracheva. Gracheva just has too much power on her backhand. Tomjanovic struggles with people with strong backhands. It really just... because Tomjanovic doesn't really have a strong serve. She's a very thin frame. She doesn't have a lot of power. and she's not the most athletic player. So if you have a little bit of power, you're gonna just completely keep her on her heels and force her to play a game she's not comfortable with, and she's gonna end up making a lot of mistakes, which proved today. Heather Watson doesn't really have the power. Heather Watson's more athletic. Gracheva's definitely a strong player, but Gracheva's gonna be playing Vondrousova in the next round, and she's a 3-1 underdog. I think that line's really off, but nonetheless, Vondrousova, I could see her giving Gracheva problems. Her serve looks very awful. I think her shoulder's a little bit injured, so I'll break that down shortly as well. We also had another upset. Diana Yastremka, another player from the Ukraine, over Pegula. And Pegula won the first set 6-4, but Yastremka came back, won the second set 6-2, 6-3, and Yastremka moves on. She's going to have a tough match this morning, and Yastremka is going to be taking on Barbara Krejcikova. Let's get right into it. The round of 16. Let's go. Will there be more upsets? That covers the upsets up until this point, but now we have a new round that's about to start. Now, this is the round of 16. We're going to start with the lower level bracket, and we have Barbara Krejcikova, the number 2 seed. She's going to be taking on Diana Yastremka. Now, Yastremka finally starting to come along. She dropped a ton after being suspended for the doping, having a doping ban of 1 year. She tried to get it down to 6 months, but no success there. But Diana Yastremka now ranked. What's going on with Ukraine and these Russian athletes? There's like a ton of doping scandals right now. The U.S. Or the Beijing Olympics, the Beijing Winter Olympics. There's a huge scandal right now with this young girl and doping. She's saying she accidentally drunk water after her grandfather. Some of these excuses are ridiculous. Like Canelo Alvarez, when he got caught with his doping ban, he blamed it on tainted meat, and a lot of people said they believe it because the meat in Mexico is very tainted. These excuses are a little bit ridiculous, and I think Sha'Carri Richardson, she should have been allowed to play. I mean, she got caught with marijuana. I'm not a marijuana fan. I don't smoke it. I don't need it in my life, but some people do, and I don't think you should be banned from the Olympics if it's not a performance enhancing drug. Simple as that. But nonetheless, people are being caught with performance enhancing drugs and nothing's happening. So it can't be a double standard. When you break the rules, you gotta pay. But nonetheless, this matchup here with Yastremka and Barbara Krejcikova, this is going to be an interesting one. And before we go any further, I'm going to do a video of the top 10 most sexiest tennis players. Yes, there's a lot of beautiful women on tour, and I think they need to get credit for a lot of the women on tour. They are in their game uniforms, the hair, the makeup's not done, they're playing a sport, they're sweating, and when you see them off court, some of these women are just stunning. But nonetheless, Yastremka, since coming back from the doping ban, there's been a lot of antics, and even before, I mean, just her wearing her custom-made skirts and, her outfits for the tennis, her outfits on the tennis court, she's really stepped her game up, and I think she's definitely looking into her fashion line and other ways to make revenue off court. Tennis players, unless you're winning consistently, going deep in the draws, or having huge sponsors, you have to find ways to make money. Tennis is a very expensive sport, and it costs a lot of money. That's why a lot of people don't get into it at an early age, because it costs so much money to maintain the lifestyle and the flying. You're constantly flying and incurring expenses to play tennis, going to different countries, and that adds up. Flights are very expensive right now. And then you have to factor in, other expenses, coaches, trainers, crews and team, family. So it's very expensive to play tennis. It's a world tour. That's very expensive. So you do have to win consistently, and a lot of women don't make it. And that's why you see a lot of these stars come up during these major tournaments, and they come out of the blue, because a lot of players from just this grueling schedule, traveling all around the world from January to essentially October or November if you make the world finals, a lot of these women are injured. I mean, they're playing a lot of games, living on the road. You don't have the comfort of routine gyms and physical therapy or your home to recover. And a lot of these women carry injuries all throughout the tour. And a lot of these majors, in particular the US Open, you get a lot of people come out of left field and they win these tournaments because they're healthy and they're hot at the right time. But nonetheless, Yastremka, 3 single titles. Before she got suspended, she was doing very, very well on tour. She's the type of player where she's a rally player, but if she's playing someone that's very good on defense, she can easily make mistakes. But Yastremka is a rally player that can go for winners. She can play very aggressive. Her serve is not the best, however, it can bail her out of some situations. She does rely a lot, I think a little bit too much, on her athletic ability versus having just a great IQ of a tennis game. But nonetheless, she is a young player, and she's going to be facing a Barbara Krejcikova, and this is going to be a matchup where she's going to have to play a perfect game if she wants to win. Perfect. And I don't know if she can do that because she does make a lot of mistakes. But Yastremka, she's 21 years old now. She's 5'7". She's one of the shorter players on tour. She's got 155 wins under her belt and 99 losses. She does have 3 singles titles, so she is getting back in the swing of things. Before the suspension, like I said, she was making a lot of noise on tour. And she's done pretty decent at the Grand Slams as well. She hasn't done much at Roland Garros. She's never been out of the first round, but she's not a great clay player. She's a hard player. She's a hardcore player. She's athletic. She's very fit. She's never out of shape. Well, actually, when she came back from the doping ban, it did take a while for her to get in shape, but she was getting some very, very good prices. The first couple months back, she was playing a lot of lower level competition, and she was getting even lines, and she was just beating them pretty easy. But at the Australian Open, she did finish the round of 32 in 2019. 2019 was a good year for her. She also made the round of 16 at the historic Wimbledon and the round of 32 at the US Open. In terms of her stats, like I said, she's not the best server, but she's putting up some decent aces. She's averaging, through her first couple matches, she's averaging essentially 8.5 aces per game. Let's just round that up to 9. So she's averaging, she can produce aces. She's averaging about 9 aces per game. But her service games, she's only winning 56% of her service games. That tells you right now she's putting up a lot of aces, but she's not closing out her service games. She's making a lot of mistakes. Okay, she's like Camilla Giorgi, like not only in the outfits and the fashion and the look, but she's a risk taker. She wants to hit winners. She wants to, she wants to hit down the line winners and cross court angles, but she's not the best shot maker. So that what gets her, things like that is what gets her in trouble. But she is winning her first serve percentage 63%. So and that's roughly, stats can be misleading. That's basically because she's getting a lot of aces, but she's also making a lot of mistakes. So she's going to be taking on Barbara Krejcikova, and Barbara Krejcikova has already beat her before, and they played once, and that came last year in Cincinnati. Again, she was just coming back. Barbara Krejcikova won the first game 6-1, and the second game actually went to a tiebreak, but Barbara Krejcikova would win that 7-5. And Barbara Krejcikova is, she's having a good year so far. She's 8-2 on the year, and she's producing roughly about 4 aces per game. But her service games won is 74%. That is a huge difference. And not only that, she's played a lot better, tougher competition. So that's a big discrepancy in between these two players. Her first serve won is 69%. Return games won 42%. Huge issue there. So Yastremka's gonna have her work cut out for her. and she's going to have to play a perfect game if she's going to upset Barbara Krejcikova. Barbara Krejcikova, as I say all the time, she is a very smart player. She's got a very huge doubles sample in terms of experience. One of her more frequent, better partners, Katerina Sinikova, they are about their business. Barbara can play coming towards the net. She can hold the baseline down. In terms of Yastremka, she hasn't really been producing a ton of double faults. She's only got 15 double faults on the year. Barbara Krejcikova, what does concern me is she's got 30 double faults. And she's one of the players, I said, with Iga Swiatek, where coming off the Barbora and Iga, I said coming off the WTA finals, they have to work on their serves because they make a lot more double faults than a lot of the top 10 players. Sabalenka's up there as well, Sakari as well. A lot of those players that made the finals, they're big servers, but they make a lot of mistakes. Pliskova, Garbiñe, those heavy servers, they also get a lot of double faults. That's how it goes. They're going for winners right off the bat. But this is a match here where I do think the value is with Krejcikova to win the first set. The full game match is astronomical. Take Barbara Krejcikova to win the first set. Those are decent odds there. But I do have Barbara Krejcikova advancing past Yastremka. Yastremka is she's too volatile. She's not consistent. She's playing a rhythm player that's going to serve and volley her. It's going to hit angles across the court. And I think it's just going to frustrate Yastremka. She's going to make a lot of mistakes. And this will most likely be a straight set win for Krejcikova. Vondrousova and Gracheva. This is going to be a good match here. Vondrousova, the world rank 38th person. She's 5'6", 22. Now, she's a short player. She looks a little bit taller than 5'6", but nonetheless, that's how, Danielle Collins was able to just control her and just move her from side to side. A lot of the taller, stronger opponents, they're able to do that if they have very strong backhands or forehands. But Vondrousova, she's a lefty. Okay, and that's what makes it a little tricky. Vondrousova has a good backhand, and she's done pretty decent. She's done pretty decent in these tournaments. We know her from doing so well at last year's Tokyo Olympics, but we also know her from making the Roland Garros finals in 2019, where she lost in straight sets to Ashley Barty, that was a blowout. I think it was something like 6-2, 6-1 or something like that. It was a very bad loss, but nonetheless, she's made it to the Roland Garros final. She's made it to the Australian Open round of 16, and she's made it to the U.S. Open round of 16. She's done that between 2019 and 2021. So she's been consistent. She's got 200 wins, 88 losses, and she's going to be playing Gracheva, this is going to come down to, in my opinion, the battle of the backhands. Vondrousova, she got completely outplayed by Danielle Collins in the first set, but she is winning 70% of her service games. And through 6 matches played, she's got 30 aces, so she can put up aces with her left hand coming at you, with her left-handed serve coming at you. It makes a lot of players uncomfortable. Gracheva has, in my opinion, just watching the match, it looks like her serve looked horrible. She had a ton of double faults, but it looks like her shoulder is really bothering her. But Gracheva, she can qualify. She can come through the qualifiers, and she has what it takes to get into these tournaments and these majors. She hasn't really done much in the slams or anything. But, if we take a look at what she's done, she's made the Australian Open second round last year. She's made the Roland Garros. This is her biggest accomplishment outside the U.S. Open. She did make the round of 32 in the Roland Garros in 21. 21 was her best year. And in 21, she made the U.S. Open round of 32 as well as in 2020. But in terms of Gracheva, she has a good backhand. She has a really good backhand. That's really her bread and butter. Right now, it looks like she's in the best shape of her life. This is the slimmest I've ever seen her. So she looks really slim. She looks really in shape. Her backhand looks good, but I mean, it's tough to really gauge a player when they're playing Asa Tomljanovic. And you guys all know how I feel about Asa Tomljanovic. She makes a ton of mistakes. And Gracheva played a really good game against her. Even though her serve was off, she did pull out a few aces in the last few games to close out Asa Tomljanovic and break her. But I feel she is not in her best shape. The problem with Krejcikova is when she steps up to the big names in the serious competition, the Rabikinas, the Haleps, and she really struggles. And her inexperience shows when she steps up to these players. She is 21. She's got 173 wins, 104 losses. So her experience does show when she steps up to these big matches. And this is a match she doesn't have any doubles experience. She's only got 30 doubles matches, so she is a singles player. I feel the problem with Vondrousova is Vondrousova is more experienced. She has weathered the storm. She has a much more impressive resume, but I do think the line's a little off. She's a 3.5 to 1 favorite. I think that's a little too high in my opinion. I think should be a little closer, a little in the twos. So picking Gracheva to 4.5 games, maybe I'd probably even jump that up to she's getting 4.5 games, 110. I'd probably even jump that to 6.5, meaning she could lose 6-3, 6-3 both games, and you would still win a pretty decent wager. So yeah, I would definitely bump that up to 6.5 on the alternate spread. But this is not a match. It's either dog or pass. Vondrousova, once Danielle got hampered, I mean, Vondrousova looked horrible against Collins, let's be honest. Gracheva, although I thought she was injured, she looked great against Asia. Take the 6.5. This is a match Vondrousova should win, but take the alternate spread with Gracheva. Elena Svetlana versus Jill Teichmann. Svetlana needs no introduction. Jill Teichmann, she's 24 years old, 5'6". She was actually born in Spain, but she resides in Switzerland. And Jill Teichmann hasn't done much at the Grand Slam. She's made it to the round of 64 this year, and she's made it to the U.S. Open round of 64 in 2018 and last year. And I mean, that's really all she's done at the majors. She has two singles titles under her belt, and overall wins and losses, 234 wins, 165 losses. And Jill Teichmann, she's athletic. She relies a lot on her athletic ability. We saw what happened last year at the Western and Southern Open, where she ran into Ashley Barty. She had a great tournament. She beat some big names moving through the draw, but when she's facing these elite players, she really does struggle. She's played 5 matches this year. She's only produced a few aces. She's averaging 1 ace per match, but she's winning her service games. 72% of her service games. She's not a big server. She just isn't. But her return serve game is very low. 27% against Elena Svetlana is not going to get it done. She's not producing aces, but she's athletic. Elena Svetlana looked very, very bad at the Australian Open. She looked overweight, and she looks frustrated. And the season, normal time frame, but it seemed like a lot of the ladies they're getting into things very slow this year, and I'm not really sure what it is. But Elena Svetlana, if she is not ready for this matchup, this could be an upset. The line is very, very low to begin with, and that tells you that this could be a potential upset, if not a match that goes 3 sets. Head-to-head, they've played twice, each player beating each other. Teichmann winning the most recent match last year in Madrid, which went 3 sets. Teichmann won the 3rd set in a tiebreak, 7-5. But nonetheless, here they did play in 2020 in Strasbourg, where Svetlana won that in straight sets. And 2020, Svetlana was playing her better tennis. 18, 19, 20, Svetlana was playing very well. But toe-to-toe, I mean, Svetlana's 27, Teichmann's 24, 5'6", on the height for Teichmann, 5'9" for Svetlana. Svetlana plays right-handed. I'm not concerned about Teichmann being left-handed. Svetlana's a good defensive player. She's very experienced. Svetlana, this is a match that Svetlana should win, but I think this is a match that will probably go over. Just because Svetlana's probably gonna take her a set and a half to figure out Teichmann, and I think within that time frame, Teichmann's going to be winning points and possibly winning games. Svetlana's averaging about 5 aces per match. Her service game won is only 62%. Her return games won is only 29%. So if Teichmann's going to get this upset, now's the time to get it against Svetlana because she has not looked good at all. This is a match where I would recommend taking the over. Garbiñe Muguruza versus Veronika Kudermetova. This is a matchup here. This is a very, very interesting matchup. Kudermetova is someone who is athletic, she's fast, and she loves playing the taller players. This is a match here where she's a big underdog, but I mean, and rightfully so. But this is a match that Kudermetova, she might be able to win some games off of Garbiñe Muguruza. Possibly. Garbiñe Muguruza does own the head-to-head 3-love. They played last year at the Olympics, which is very meaningful match. It did go over. Garbiñe did win in straight sets, 7-5, 7-5. And before that, they played same year, Doha last year, 6-2, 7-6. And Garbiñe won that in straight sets. Dubai 2020 did go 3 sets. But nonetheless, Garbiñe Muguruza owns the head-to-head. Garbiñe Muguruza needs no introduction to WTA champion, but we will take a closer look. At Veronika Kudermetova. Veronika, we did see her get her first title on the Australian leg of the tour last year, and that was very meaningful to her. She got a huge payday in that title, and her husband is her coach, and she's come a long way. You know, I can remember watching Kudermetova play, and especially a lot of these Russian tournaments. She's from Russia, and she's just disappointed the crowd so many times, and it was just so sad to see her early exits in a lot of these Russian tournaments. But nonetheless, she is the world's ranked 31st, so she's climbed her way consistently up the rankings by getting through the first, second rounds in these tournaments, and she can go to the third round, which she's shown in the Grand Slams. She's made it to the Australian Open round of 32, 2021, and as well as this year. She made it to the Roland Garros round of 32 in 2019. So that's consistently keeping her, decent, with a decent ranking, because she can win in these draws. She can go to the third round in these draws, and that's gonna get her consistent paychecks and keep her up there in the rankings. She's 276 and 187 in terms of wins and losses on her career, with a career high of 28. She plays left-handed. However, she can use her right hand equally well. Kudermetova is averaging about 5 aces per match. She has an outstanding service games won at 75%. Her return game, though, a little sloppy. That's where you have the potential to rack up points with her, 28.9%. And she's making a lot of double faults. She's giving away essentially 3 points per match in double faults. And if you give Garbiñe Muguruza free points, you're going to be in trouble. If Garbiñe Muguruza comes into this matchup wearing her all black, then Kudermetova is going to be in trouble. By the way, if anyone gets a chance to see that amazing video of Garbiñe Muguruza online dancing, doing some of the Spanish dances, that's a really nice video. It's very beautiful. We see these women sweaty and battling every time out in public on TV, and it's nice to see them in their comfort zone, relaxing and enjoying, doing what they enjoy to do off the court. And for Garbiñe, that's dancing. She's a really good dancer. But in terms of this match, it's not really a match that I love. This is not a match I'm going to put on my Patreon. But Garbine Muguruza should win this match. But again, it's not a match that will be on my Patreon. Yeah, it's just not a match I love. Kvitova, she's an athletic player. She's lefty. If Garbine Muguruza is hitting long, and if she's just not up for this match, this is a match that Kvitova can possibly cover the spread. I think the spread's too low, to be honest with you, for someone that she's dominated. I think the spread should probably be at least 4. It's 3. So again, it's not a match that I love, but I think it could be a match that goes 3 sets, and Garbine Muguruza, she should pull it out. All right. As we get to the money bracket, Jabeur, the 8th seed, versus Jessica Pegula. These two ladies need no introduction. I've covered them many times on the channel. Head-to-head, these two have played 3 times, with Jessica Pegula getting the best of Ons. However, Ons winning the most recent in the Chicago 500 tournament. That's a tournament that we saw Annette Kontaveit capture the title, and Jabeur won that in straight sets. She lost the first set 6-1, but she would come back and win the second set 6-2 and the third set 6-3. Before that, in Montreal, a couple of weeks earlier, Pegula won that in 3 sets. Jabeur won the first set 6-1, and Pegula won the second set in the tiebreak 7-4, 6-love in the third set. And before that, they played in 18, Quebec City, where Pegula won in straight sets 7-6, 6-4. This is a match here where both ladies, first of all, I just want to say, I think Jessica Pegula looks really good. What she did to Corey Goff in straight sets, that's a tough feat. Corey Goff is young, athletic, she's powerful, and she has one of the best coaches in the industry, without a doubt. So what she was able to do to Corey Goff was really good. So that's amazing. So Jabeur might be in trouble here. But Pegula, we know who Pegula is, right? She's a household name at this point, but she's averaging about 4 aces per game. She's got a 74% service game 1 percentage. Her return games 1 is only 23%. That's very low. And she's making a lot of double faults. She's producing about 4 aces a game, and she's making about 4 double faults per game. So that's very interesting. I did think that Jabeur did not look good. I did think she did not look good late in her match today, and I don't know what really happened down the stretch, but I felt she was just giving a lot of games away, and that concerned me because I've said many times on the channel, I think Jabeur is one of the most versatile players in the game. She can use her backhand, her forehand, she can use her slice, she can volley, drop shot, you name it. She's the most versatile player, and she keeps you on her feet. She's not the most athletic player, but she keeps you on her feet. She has good defense, and she has a very good arsenal. Jabeur only has 1 singles title, and she made history last year, setting a lot of records from being the first Tenencia player to do a ton of things. And I think her history making is going to continue. She's got a real solid chance. I don't think she'll make the finals this year, to be honest with you. I think the competition on tour is, I think it's getting to the point where I think she'll just miss the top 10 again. But however, she's going to go deep in these draws. I think it's going to really come down to the heavy hitters just winning championships and going deep in the majors. But Jabeur is not producing any aces. She's barely averaging 2 aces per game. Her service game 1 is 78%. Her return games 1 is 43% before this match today, though. But nonetheless, I think this is a matchup where you have to take the over. I'm not excited by Jessica Pegula being the favorite. It's definitely a dog or pass situation, but this is a match where you got to take the over. Both of the ladies need the points. They both want to get to the semifinals. Take the over. And now we get to Simona Halep versus Ruse. And this is a matchup I'm just not going to spend a lot of time on. Simona Halep needs no introduction. but a lot of people aren't familiar with Elena Gabriela Ruse. I've watched a lot of her matches, especially on the lower level circuit. She's age 24. She's from Romania, so this is going to be a battle of the Romanians. It's pretty nice. Ruse is definitely someone that looks up to Simona Halep. In terms of Ruse, in terms of her, she hasn't done anything at the majors. She's just really getting her breakthrough. She hasn't made it past the U.S. Open or Roland Garros in her 3 appearances there. This year was her highest finish at the Australian Open, getting to the round of 64. And I mean, in terms of her, like I said, she hasn't really done much in the slams. She made to the Australian Open 64 this year. That's her best finish. But she's come through the qualifiers and she's putting together some wins, and she's in shape. And 223 wins, 127 losses on her career. She does have a singles title, currently ranked 59. She looks up to Halep, and this match is going to be a learning experience that Simona Halep is going to win this matchup. I do have Halep winning this matchup in straight sets. All right, the money bracket, round of 16. Sabalenka, the number 1 seed, versus Kvitova, the Hall of Famer. Jelena Ostapenko taking on the 6th seed, Iga Swiatek. This is going to be some good stuff here. Let's get right into it. Jelena Ostapenko, one of my favorite players. I've covered her many times on the channel. She needs no introduction. She's playing well this year, and she's faced some very tough competition that she has succeeded, most recently beating Sofia Kenin. But this is going to be a different type of challenge she has here facing Iga Swiatek. Ostapenko looks really good. She looks really strong. It's just that one of the things that concerns me when she's playing someone like Iga is all the mistakes that she makes. Iga she's only averaging about 2.5 aces per game, but she's winning 75% of her service game. That lets you know that she's not making a ton of errors. But Iga's serve, I mentioned this late last year at the finals. I did a huge video on the finals and the WTA finals, and I said Iga needs to work on her serve. She has to work on her serve. If she can become a better server, she can be a really great player, and definitely she won't be one of these one slam hit wonders like possibly Emma Raducanu, or hey, maybe a Jelena Ostapenko if she can't get another one. That's why you have to respect Serena Williams and all these greats that have paved the way. But here's the problem. Iga's return games won is 42.4%. That's the highest of all the players we've covered today in this video. The highest of all the remaining players, 42.4%. That is insane. That is insane, okay? Now, Ostapenko makes a ton of mistakes. We know she 42% return games won. That might be a problem in this matchup. Jelena's only averaging 36% return games won. But Jelena, as I said, she makes a lot of mistakes. Jelena, I don't think she is in the fittest form. We saw I've always said, if you bring her into deep water, hang around with her, she will gas out. The problem with the match today with Sofia Kenin, and Sofia Kenin is just not in shape to hang with anyone, right? You know, Sofia's just not in shape to hang with anyone. Definitely not Ostapenko's power. But listen, let me get straight to the point here. Jelena Ostapenko, she owns the head-to-head against Iga Swiatek. And when it comes down to it, Iga struggles against players that are a lot stronger than her. Players that can hit through her defense, she folds. If Iga loses the first set, there's a chance that she has a meltdown. She's like Osaka. You know, if she can't close you out, she starts, Iga travels with her psychologist. She's very into the mental aspect of the game and not getting down on herself and hard on herself. But when she's playing these strong opponents, it shows, and she wears it on her face. Jelena Ostapenko owns the head-to-head, and it hasn't been close. and I see no reason to think it's going to be close here either. Iga's going to be in a world of trouble. However, Iga is the favorite, so I have a expert prediction for you guys. I'm going to make this my expert prediction for you guys. I'm going to make it a safe one for you. Jelena Ostapenko is getting 4 games at pretty much a very good even price. Why don't you buy it up to 6.5? Therefore, worst case scenario, she could lose 6-3, 6-3, and that will still be a winner for you with a good return. Official prediction, Jelena Ostapenko, buy her up to 6.5 games. However, there's a really good chance Jelena's going to win this match. If she can play how she played against Anett Kontaveit for the first set, if she can steal the first set, then there's a possibility Iga's going to fold. However, though, I do think Iga is the more consistent player, and being in the round of 16, consistency gets you to the semifinals, consistency gets you to the championship. I like the more disciplined player. If Jelena's serve is not on and she's making a lot of mistakes, Iga can win this match. So I think the safe bet is to take Jelena at plus 6.5 games. However, if I had to pick a winner, I would go with Iga. I think she's just more consistent. I'm not a fan of picking opponents that make a lot of mistakes. I'm not a fan of opponents that take a lot of chances, and I'm not a fan of people that aren't. However, when it comes to passion, enthusiasm, and excitement, Jelena's the best in the business. I love her passion. I love her energy. And look, I don't follow a lot of tennis players on Twitter, but I follow Jelena. She's one of my favorite players. Therefore, that's my expert prediction, plus 6.5 games. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. I've been up working all day. Let's get into the last prediction. Alright, let's get down to the main event, and this is a match I'm really excited to see. Sabalenka, the number 1 seed, taking on the Hall of Famer Kvitova. Hey, by the way, did anyone see the Vondrousova match with Danielle Collins? After Danielle Collins broke, actually no, she broke Vondrousova early. She was up, I want to say she was up 4-1. And Vondrousova was on serve before she got broken again. And, she was serving before she got broken again. And, Danielle Collins took forever. So the chair umpire called time. Danielle Collins took forever. So after the chair umpire called time, she continued to sit down at her chair. She waited literally about another 30 seconds, then slowly walked to get her towel. And Vondrousova was literally laughing at the chair umpire and the cameras like, are you serious? Is she literally being this disrespectful? And it reminded me of some of the things that Sabalenka does to her opponents. She can be very disrespectful to her opponents, and it's just downright rude, you know? I mean, this is a match I'm looking forward to. I'm excited. Sabalenka is only producing about just under 5 aces per game, and she needs that number to be up. I mean, Jill Teichmann is producing a ton of aces. Sabalenka's got to be up around 9 to 10 aces per game, getting those free points, because her return games won is only 36%. She's only winning 62% of her service games. Right now, Sabalenka is vulnerable to be beat, and she's going to be playing a veteran. And she's playing a veteran who has the hardware. She has the trophy. She's won the Australian Open in 2019. She's won Wimbledon twice, 2011, 2014. So she's playing someone that has the experience. She's playing someone with 28 singles, total of 28 titles, with 3 of them being Grand Slams. And she's playing someone that's just as tall as her. So Kvitova struggles when she plays the shorter players. When she passed the test of dismantling Camila Giorgi, I'm like, okay, yeah, she's ready. She's ready. So when she's playing someone her height, and she's not that old, she's only 31, although she's been talking about retiring. A lot of these ladies, they want to have children and start families, and you can't do that when you get too old, you know? You want to see your children grow up while you're young. And but nonetheless, this is a match where Sabalenka she's open. she's open for an upset. And I don't think Sabalenka looked really good against Kasu today, although that was a good test. I mean, if you beat someone young and strong like Kasu, you can definitely beat Kvitova. And in terms of this match, Sabalenka is the favorite. I'm not in love with the number though. This is definitely not a number I'm in love with, because Sabalenka, just like a Ostapenko, makes a lot of mistakes, and Kvitova is going to capitalize on them. This is a match where Sabalenka, if she is focused, she should win. But the head-to-head is 2-2 between these two ladies. They've split all of their matches that they've played. A couple years ago, I mean, they played in Doha. Sabalenka won that in straight sets. Sydney 19, Kvitova won in straight sets. So, I mean, the sample size is a bit old. You know, that data is definitely not going to serve us well in a match like this. But however, the advantage is definitely with Kvitova. This is a match, in terms of an expert prediction, I would buy Kvitova up to 4.5. Right now she's 3 at even money. Buy her up to 4.5, maybe even 5, and take the win. You know, if I had to pick a winner, this would be underdog or pass. They've split the head-to-heads, and Kvitova is, you know, she's almost a 2-1 underdog. But my official prediction would be buy Kvitova up to 4.5, 5, and take the free money. This is good energy, guys. Thank you for staying with me through this hour video. You know, it takes time to make these draws and predictions and put together the content. If you can donate to my PayPal, please, I appreciate all donations. If you want to sign up for my Patreon, I have picks on there. I do charge for the Patreon. I charge because I give you winners, and I don't pick every match. I do pick the matches where I think will win with a nice return. But nonetheless, a lot of the free picks I give out here, you won't see on my Patreon, because I only put the Patreon picks there that will get you a return and will help you make money. So a lot of the free picks that I speak on here don't make the Patreon. So, but nonetheless, that is my preview and prediction for the round of 16 at the Dubai Duty-Free Classic. Great tournament, a bunch of great players. Some videos coming up soon. I'm going to be doing my top 10 players of backhands, my top 10 WTA forehand players, players that I think have the best backhands, the best forehands, the best serves, and how about the most beautiful players. If you have a chance, please check out my King Richard video. That's nominated for a ton of awards. I think we're seeing the last Venus has got to be ranked like 1,000 in the world right now, or something like 200, I think, or 400, I think. But we're seeing the last of Serena. She's not going to be around much longer. Enjoy her time, enjoy her presence, enjoy the history she's gave you. The greatest open era tennis player, male or female, you gotta love it. Djokovic, there's a lot going on here. He's ready to sit out the rest of the majors if he has to. So a lot of drama, a lot of tennis news going on. I'll try to cover some more of that. But nonetheless, we will be back tomorrow with another video. That's right, we will be back tomorrow with another video, and we will conclude today's matches and just talk tennis. Good energy. Please smash the comment button, smash the like button, and please smash the subscribe button. It definitely helps the algorithm. Sometimes I'll do a video and it will get 40 likes or 20 likes, and then I'll do videos and they only get 0 likes or 1 like. So if you guys can like, it really helps the algorithm. I have to compete with a lot of other channels that they use video and they get away with it. You know, I used to use a lot of tennis video with my examples and tips and, just to show fans what I'm talking about with the players, their moves, reviews, matches, recaps, and I would get tens and thousands of views each video. But can't do that anymore. They will take your video down. A lot of people don't get away with it, but for some reason when I used to do that, I would get strikes, so I can't do that anymore. But thank you guys. This is good energy. Please like, return the love. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow.